Ethiopian Air Force was organized by Mishka Babichev, the first Ethiopian pilot who was of Russian descent. The Air Force was commanded by Colonel John Robinson, an African-American who took command in May 1935 and was recruited by Emperor Haile Selassie, and who remained until the Italy invasion of Ethiopia when the small air arm ceased to exist. The incumbent commander-in-chief of the Ethiopian Air Force, Lieutenant General Yilma Merdasa, has announced that Ethiopia is set to take a pivotal role in enhancing cooperation among African air forces, with a focus on the modernization of military aviation across the continent. This statement comes as the Ethiopian Air Force celebrates its 89th anniversary on November 20, 2017 of Ethiopian calendar, a milestone which was commemorated under the inspiring theme, A Proud Nation, a Fearless Air Force. The festivities included the Second African Air Force Forum, which took place in Bishoftu City. A significant event has drawn attendance from Air Force commanders representing various African nations, including Morocco, Uganda, Tanzania, Mali, Kenya, Rwanda, Djibouti, Nigeria, Congo-Brazzaville, Niger, and many more, illustrating a united commitment to regional security and collaboration. During his address at the forum, Lieutenant General Yilma Merdasa emphasized the rapid advancements in aviation technology, which are consistently reshaping the landscape of military air power. He articulated that to safeguard Ethiopia's sovereignty effectively, the nation requires an air force that is not only modern but also adept to embracing cutting-edge developments in aviation. Furthermore, he noted that the Future African Air Forces Forum serves as a platform for sharing knowledge and best practices among participating nations, facilitating a rich exchange of experiences that can foster mutual growth in military aviation capabilities. Lieutenant General Yilma also expressed a forward-looking vision, stating that the event could lay a groundwork for establishing the African Air Forces Association. He underscored the importance of collaboration among African air forces, particularly in enhancing technological capacity and developing human resources. His remarks reflect a strong commitment to working closely with counterparts across the continent to build a robust and united aerial defense framework, ultimately contributing to the security and stability of Africa as a whole. The Ethiopian Air Force celebrated its 89th anniversary. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced that the maiden flight of San-2, an aircraft designed and developed in Ethiopia. The Ethiopian Air Force is celebrating its anniversary with this major achievement, which will culminate in the maiden flight of the San-2, a locally designed and developed aircraft. The achievement marks a significant step forward in efforts to modernize the country's security forces, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said recently. Equipped with the latest technology to meet operational requirements, San-2 symbolizes the Air Force's ambition to become the largest air force on the African continent by 2030. The Prime Minister hailed the breakthrough as proof of the country's potential in technological innovation and defense. The move is part of wider reforms being undertaken by Ethiopia to strengthen its military and technological capabilities while modernizing its institutions.
It's officially launched the second edition Future African Air Force Forum with the theme of to tackle common problems or cooperation to tackle common challenge. So I kindly invited His Excellency Lieutenant General Merdasa to address the opening speech.
Today is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the second edition of Future African Air Force Forum 2024, and please, from the commencement, allow me to express my sincerely gratitude and appreciation for joining us. There is a concrete justification for us to say Ethiopian is your country. Ethiopia is the birthplace of the human race, which means that if we go back and count our families, we will meet as the children of the same family somewhere. Welcome to your ancestors and welcome to your home again. Today, our world has become more and more unpredictable and uncertain, where cooperation is imperative to have common language in aviation industry. We are in the world where aviation technology has been changing in very, very astonishing speed. month, day, every year. We are in the world where some platforms becoming the most threat for our national security. Your Excellencies, distinguished Air Force commanders, distinguished participants, the aim of this conference is to bring knowledge and experience among African Air Force in the belief that the African Air Force have the know-how and combat-proven experience in aviation training, operations, and aircraft maintenance. The forum will also facilitate for the representative of some well-known industries and the companies to present their capabilities and the level of willingness to work with us. It's a forum belongs to all of us and is signed to reach a great level with all of our abilities and efforts. In addition to that, this year the conference will offer a unique opportunity to raise the issue of the foundation of African Air Force Association and is expected to approve the declaration. This association will serve as a platform for member of countries to come together to discuss issues that affect our respective Air Force capabilities. Your Excellencies, distinguished Air Force commanders, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, this year forum will point out the direction in which we can use our resources together to be more effective than what we can do individually. From this point of view, the Ethiopian Air Force would like to confirm that we are highly committed to work and develop together with all African countries in all fields of technology, especially in the developing of human resource, training of pilots and technicians, and the maintenance as well, and the transfer of aviation technology. I believe that there will be a desire on your part to jointly enrich some selected capacity and use the result together. We will develop this further in our joint bilateral and trilateral discussions later on this forum and during this bilateral Air Force to Air Force discussion during the following days. Finally, I would like to congratulate the organizers and the participants of the 2024 Future African Air Force Forum. Without your effort and participation, the forum could not have reached this point. In the future, we must strengthen this forum in our efforts to build a better African Air Force, where we can find solutions to our common problem and exchange knowledge and experience. I firmly believe that we will include the Air Force that did not participate due to some reasons and meet at 2025 Future African Air Force Forum or the 19th anniversary of Ethiopian Air Force next year.
The journey starts with content of general background, vision, mission, core values, motto, academic structure, and previous cooperation with African brother countries. When I come to my background, the role of our academy is to produce skilled combat pilots, combat technicians, and the leaders of the future. To this end, it has established various institutions. Our Air Force established various institutes, and in our academy, not only the institutions, we have training pattern, planning, and training requirement, giving the training in different specialization, and of course, at the end, our students will be graduated. And as academy, we have a vision. We reformed our vision, our academy with vision. Our vision is to be one of the best aviation academy by 2030 in Africa. We started with our vision. So after we set our vision, we set also the mission. Our mission is to recruit outstanding students from civilians who are academically fit and of course physically fit. And we train the students to be combat pilots, combat engineers, and the leaders of the future. And of course, we provide short-term trainings and promote innovation, creativity for our students. As a military, we have a guidelines as a defense force and as Air Force. All members of the Air Force, all members of the defense force are guided by these core values. So our academy is using the same core values to train, to teach our students honesty, to train our students loyalty, to train our students to be disciplined, to train our students selfless, to train our students personal excellence, to bring organizational excellence, and of course, to bring operational excellence. This is what we follow. This is a core for our academy. And we also have motto. Our motto is to shape the future of Air Force. This motto signifies taking responsibility, having a strategic vision, giving specialized training to meet the needs of Air Force in the future. It signifies cooperation with African brothers, and always we remember this motto, and we teach even our students to be the leader of the future, the leader of the country, to defend their country too. And when we come to our academy has 4 major areas of study. Basically, the first step in our academy is the basic military school. As you all know, the purpose of basic military school is just to train recruits physically fit, to be disciplined, to be correct, and so on. Of course, this is common for all of us. But unfortunately, previously, we were used to send our students to Defense Force Basic Military School, our recruits. But of course, they can get the training there, but they couldn't get Air Force culture there. So what our commanders has decided was to bring to open the basic military school at our compound. So since 2018, we started to train our recruits at our home, at our base. So that our trainees, our recruits can get an exposure to seniors, to the culture of Air Force, to the facilities of the Air Force, like hardware. They can see at least aircrafts, they can see seniors, they can be inspired by senior pilots, by senior technicians, engineers. So that was the basic and a very important decision that was made by our commander. So since, as I said, since 2018, we started to train our trainers for, basic military training. We started to give basic military training in our compound. Then after they graduated from basic military training, they will be private, and according to the recruitment. If the trainee is recruited to join technical college, they will go to technical college. If he or she is recruited to be a pilot, they will join to flying school, And of course, after sometimes they will join leadership college. So as you can see from my presentation, we have basic military school, we have technical college with 6 departments, flying school with at least 4, I can say, squadrons, and the newly opened areas leadership college. I'll come to each of them. Actually, I said more on basic military training, so no need to say more. Let's jump to the technical department. As I said, we have 6 departments that are basically teach aviation technology, but there are also 2 departments which are actually giving common courses like basic science department, and we have career development department. We call it vocational. So we'll have totally around 8, but basically we have 6 departments.
I'm Brigadier General PSC Jok Angok. I'm the Defense Attaché for South Sudan, accredited to Ethiopia since 2013. In fact, this kind of forum are very important, and Ethiopia had carried out previous forum, even including the African Defense Ministers meetings, conference that was held in September, and brought all African defenses to share the experiences and how to explore roads and ways and meet the challenges for mitigation. And actually this one is one of the forum that has brought the African airships to come and share the same experience. And we have seen in presentation, everybody has acquired what is important for this forum. And it is incredible. It is very important. My chief didn't come, and I'm representing South Sudan. And I'm going to report about this forum, and then my chief is going to take it from there. And next time, he will not be lost, he will be in track. In fact, the foundation for South Sudan Air Force was from here. We have got trained our aircraft, the Air Force pilots, engineers, ground engineers, and avionic trainings. And we say that it was founded by the Ethiopian Air Force. It's the mother, by the way. And so we have to keep on this one. We're supposed to have so many training, but still yet we didn't organize ourselves to send the staff to be trained and catch up with the world and the African Air Force forces, experiences. Africa is faced by so many challenges, including terrorism, the air traffic at the borders, illegal activities have been taking place. There is rebellion, unnecessary rebellion supported by anti-peace elements, and therefore these are the challenges that need to be addressed by the Air Force in collaboration with the neighboring or by far, like now, China and other world countries are supporting the Air Force to build a strong Air Force. So the cooperation is very important, and this is what the Ethiopia is looking after, that the African Air Force must come together because of the future and the current challenges taking place.
The first part is the threat analysis. I will go through it really quick because Mr. Liang has already given the brief introduction. So we know when we talk about air defense, we actually talk about how we can protect ourselves against the threats from the air domain. And we can classify those threats into two categories. The first is the conventional air targets. So it includes the fighter, the armored helicopter, the large UAV, and they may have the airborne weapons like the missiles, the cruise missiles. They have the long-range, precise strike capabilities that will threaten us. And for the second part is the UAV targets. Actually, the UAV targets has always been the air defense targets. However, with the rapid development of its technology and the wide applications, it has become the hottest topic and the most important task nowadays. So you can see all the kinds of UAV. They have big ones, small ones, the rotary wing, the fixed wing. And for the classifications, since we have all these types of the UAV, we have classified them into 5 categories. And the standard is based on the military, the US military and European classification standard. So we classify them according to the weight, the height, and the velocity into 5 groups, including the first group, Group 1, the mini UAV, the Group 2 is small tactical UAV, Group 3 is the tactical UAV, and for Group 4 is long endurance UAV. And for this group, they may carry the air-to-surface missile. And for finally, the Group 5, the strategic UAV, it has stronger capabilities. So I'll give you a small summary about the threat analysis in one word. We think that the UAV threats has been the greatest challenge, but also the best opportunity for our air defense systems. And that's why we are going here today to give you our air defense and counter UAV solution. So before we go to the technical details, we want to mention 3 elements about the air defense solutions. The first is the detection. It means that we have to detect and we have to classify and identify any threats. And then we have to locate them, tracking them, and we send the information into the second element, the decision. We have to evaluate the threat. We give the command, and we send the command through a smooth communication system, and we'll distribute the missions to the third element, the interception part. That means we have to remove or reduce the threat from the air. And next, we'll show you some techniques we're using today about the detections and the interceptions. So nowadays, there are 4 main detection methods. The first one is the radar detection. The second is the EO detection. We also have the RF detection and acoustic sensors to detect the target information. We will also want to mention that the single detection may have its pros and cons. So usually in the actual practice applications, we use an integrated detection method. And for the interception method, nowadays they have 10 mainstream methods, includes the surface-to-air missile, the AA guns. Those are all mature equipment.
This is a newly launched AMN Plus program called Inside Africa, which deals with significant issues of African continent and African nations.
Today, actually, the Future African Air Force Forum 2024 is an excellent platform to meet the senior officials from different African countries. We can exchange views, we can talk to each other, know about each other's problems and possibilities, so that we can share our resources with each other. You know, Bangladesh is also a developing country, and many African countries are also in the same road to development. So if we can cooperate with each other, perhaps we will achieve better development. That's why I am here to do networking, to knowing each other, and making a good network of friends with the African nations. The Air Force of Bangladesh is developing very fast. We have some good reliable aircrafts, we have good reliable air defense systems acquired from different countries. And I think our Air Force and our air defense is capable to defend our airspace. Actually, with our Air Force, we are trying to do training exchanges. Our Air Force have some very good training institutions. Those training institutions conduct a lot of professional courses for the officers and men. From the African countries, we expect that the officers and men from African countries can go and be trained in our Air Force institutions, and thereby we develop relationship. We can have also joint cooperation in the UN missions, where our Air Force helicopter units and other units are deployed. So we can have cooperation in training and in UN mission also. Actually, with the Ethiopian Air Force, we didn't have much cooperation so far, but we are expecting to have more cooperation in future. I congratulate and I pay our tribute to the Ethiopian Air Force. It's quite a old force. 89 years experience for a Air Force is quite a long time. They have developed over the period of time, and now they have helicopters, transport aircrafts, fighter aircrafts, and they are capable to defend their own airspace. So my greetings on my personal behalf and on behalf of my country to the Ethiopian Air Force for doing so great. Regarding this second Air Force Forum, I think is gaining momentum. More and more African Air Force senior officials are joining. In the third edition, perhaps there will be more joining in, and there will be more opportunities to explore. Especially, I would like to say that Air Force gaining Air Force capability is very expensive. That is a little bit difficult to afford for many developing nations, especially in Asia and Africa. So here we can minimize this cost by having our own homegrown system, homegrown technologies, instead of buying it from the expensive Western markets. So I think that there are possibilities to having close cooperation between the developing countries of Asia and Africa to develop their homegrown technology. So that's my main focus that we would like to say. And just to add, though it is an Air Force forum, but I personally come from Army. And Bangladesh Army has like three defense industries. We have Bangladesh Ordnance Factory, where we produce small arms ammunition. We have Bangladesh Machine Tools Factory, where we produce different kinds of spare parts of military use and nature. And also we have Army Pharmaceutical Industry, where we produce medicine for our combined military hospitals. Beside, you will be very happy to know that Bangladesh has a very developed shipbuilding industry. So we can produce say small sea-going vessels for the African nations, and the quality of our product is comparable with the Western one, but our one is very affordable, very economic. So that message also I would like to share with the participant, that though most of them are the Air Force senior officials, but we also have many DAs and many officers who represent their respective Army and Navy. So I would also like to give them that message that Bangladesh can be a good source of having cooperation or having acquiring some military gadgets from Bangladesh at affordable cost. Definitely, this is the time for having mutual cooperation and mutual understanding between the developing nations, because there are financial is one factor, having expensive materials. The other factor is geopolitics. So at times you do not have access to whatever you need. So we can have exchange of expertise between us. You will be happy to note that Bangladesh have very good technicians. Our work experience, our workers, our technicians in the Air Force and the officers, they have developed over the period of time very good knowledge and expertise on like repair, like maintenance, overhauling. So these are the aspects that we can have cooperation with the African countries. Especially you mentioned that African country and Bangladesh is at par or at similar situation. So in these particular situations, we have more scope to cooperate. So that's why I'm here to represent Bangladesh and offer them the start of a new cooperation in any sector. It can be in Air Force or Army or Navy. Actually, the challenge of Africa, if I would say, it is not in the aerospace. It is mainly mainly the terrorism and mainly the inter-ethnic conflict. But it is also good to know that those like the forces, the opposing forces, that they are like rebel forces, they are slowly and gradually trying to acquire a system like drone, like UAVs. So the government forces need to counter them through acquiring the anti-drone system, anti-UAV systems, and good air defense system as well. And so I think that future challenge of African aerospace is to protect them from these small aerial vehicles like UAV and drones and things like that.
So our mission is keeping your aircraft mission ready. What do? We design and develop, we manufacture, we reverse engineer, and we also supply mod kits. This is a small brief about our company. I will not take too much of time, but we are into the defense parts manufacturing. To keep it very short, we also support a lot of Russian parts which are obsolete or may not be available at the moment because of geopolitical situations. So we have a small cooperation agreement which we have signed with ADMC. Thanks for that opportunity ADMC has given to us. We are trying to utilize their capabilities as well as amalgamate our capabilities together with them to support the other African nations with whatever parts manufacturing we can offer. And in the next slides, I'm going to show you what parts we work on. So we have the defense capability where we do design, development, validation, manufacturing, and certification. That's very important. Of what? Of airborne mechanical and avionics components and sub-assemblies. Repair solutions of critical and non-critical aircraft parts, and reverse engineering and manufacturing of obsolete parts. Because in aviation we come across, every time we come across this condition, you have a lot of parts which are not available anymore or they are obsolete, and we can convert from analog to digital also many of the parts. So we have our factories back there in India, and we also have an office in Dubai to support the African continent. So we use sophisticated software tools for electronic circuit design and simulation. Our factory is equipped with laser, latest SMT machine, reflow soldering, and various of the other machines. Our machine tool room has precision multi-axis CNC VMC machines, and through this we can produce parts with 10 microns of precision. I am the CEO and Managing Director of a company called Aerochamp Aviation Private Limited. We have a base in India, but we also have our offices in Dubai and the USA. So basically, we are into manufacturing of aircraft components for the defense and the civil aviation. Recently, we have signed a MOU with Ethiopian Air Force to support them on the manufacturing and maintenance of aircraft component on various Russian fleet. We produce several mechanical and electronic parts. Nobody can produce everything, so we are focused on certain cabin and cockpit parts, which include mechanical, magnetrons, which include electronic upgrade systems. So we have a full-fledged design and research organization back there in India, and we are not only supporting some of the African country air forces, but we are also doing it in the Middle East. So we are one of the leading manufacturer for the Indian Air Force also, by the way. So this MOU is essentially for bilateral cooperation. This is under the African continent agreement with India for bilateral cooperation on defense. So here our MOU is more about cross-utilizing the capabilities, what Ethiopian Air Force has and what we have. We want to come and establish a lot of additional capabilities, enhance their capabilities. At the same time, they want to use us for many of the other manufacturing activities. So it's more of a general MOU which describes of the cooperation between the two organizations. The Indian Air Force is a very strong Air Force. As you know, India is a large country. By virtue of being into the same industry and, by being virtue of our relationship, India and Africa has a very, very old relationship. Other than that, we share the same skin color. So we feel very brotherly with the African countries. So since the fleets are also similar, because India is also a mixed fleet of Russian and the American fleet, whereas Ethiopians are also, or largely the African countries are also very mixed fleet like Russian and American, or some of them more on Russian. So we have a commonality, and since our strength is basically on the Russian fleet, we are more than happy to support all the African continent defense forces by supporting them with parts. Now, especially with the current geopolitical situation, I think there is a lot of disruption of supply chain. And we intend to support the African continent air forces with all the parts to resolve the supply chain issues. So basically, as I told you, we are a design organization, and what we intend to do is essentially support the supply chain here. So both the logistics and the spare parts. Since we have been developing a lot of things for the Indian Air Force as well as other Asian air forces, we have a huge capability. Not only us, but there are many other companies in India which are doing re-engineering or advancement and upgrade of various types of Russian fleet. So we can bring all of that as a technology to the African air forces. Yeah, the presentations were great. I liked them. I think some of the presentations went a little long, and that was, it was like people were losing their interest. So hence we made our presentation very short, crisp, and to the point. So I think largely it is very well organized. I must congratulate the Ethiopian Air Force for organizing such a wonderful event. Everything is so well organized, everything is all in place. So we appreciate this effort. First and foremost, I must congratulate the Ethiopian Air Force on its 89th anniversary. Great going. One of the things which I learned is Ethiopia has never been colonized. That's great. Probably that speaks a lot about its own internal forces. And I think Ethiopian Air Force is a very organized and very disciplined Air Force. And I would love to work with them. I love to support them. And I look forward to an opportunity to support them as much as I can. Once again, congratulating the Ethiopian Air Force for organizing such a wonderful event.
For our staff training, it is joint. We do it together with the Army and the Navy. So we have the Armed Forces Command and Staff College for both the junior and senior staff courses. We also have the Air Force War College. The Air Force War College is conducting training on air operations at the tactical and operational levels. We have the Nigerian Air Force Institute of Technology. The Institute of Technology is training personnel on engineering, communication and information systems, technologies on unmanned aerial systems, ballistics, and so on and so forth. Our flying schools, we have the primary flying schools, the basic flying schools for both fixed wing and helicopter platforms. And also we have schools for advanced tactical training.